light, bring in the light, bring in the light of Shabbat. We light the lights of Shabbat. Bring in the light, bring in the light, bring in the light of Shabbat. Lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Shabbat, Shalom. May you have a peaceful day. Shabbat, Shalom. May you have a restful day. Bring in the light, bring in the light, bring in the light of Shabbat. We light the lights of Shabbat. Bring in the light, bring in the light, bring in the light of Shabbat. Lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Shabbat, Shalom. As we watch the candles shine. Shabbat, Shalom. Cover the challah, pour the wine. Bring in the light, bring in the light, bring in the light of Shabbat. We light the lights of Shabbat. Shabbat, Shalom. Time to take a big deep breath. Shabbat, Shalom. A special day for us to rest. Bring in the light, bring in the light, bring in the light of Shabbat. We light the lights of Shabbat. Lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Good evening, Shabbat Shalom. I am so glad we can be here, whether we are in person in the Beit HaT'filah at Temple Emmanuel of South Hills, or whether we are online in sacred virtual community. I'm glad we can begin Shabbat together this evening. Hine ma tov, how good and how pleasant it is to be together tonight.
Hine ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad.
It is wonderful to come together to celebrate not only Shabbat this weekend, but the bat mitzvah of a remarkable young woman. And as I invite you to turn in your prayer book to page 2, as we kindle the lights of Shabbat, Kendra, can I call you forward? Mom, Stephanie, would you join as well? It is a pleasure to have you this evening as a preview of coming attractions that we might get to celebrate this joyous evening together. Please, please.
Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushon
Wonderful. Please. Yeah, go for it.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who follows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Thank you both so much. We'll get you back up here later in the service. Don't go too far. And I would invite you to join me on pages 4 and 5 as we recognize the sweetness of Shabbat, the sweetness of this day. And there was evening, there was morning, the 6th day. The heaven and the earth were finished in all of their array. On the 7th day, God finished the work that God had been doing and ceased from the work that God had done. God blessed the 7th day, declaring it holy, because on it God ceased from the work of creation that God had done. If it's comfortable for you to do so, I invite you to rise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu Zicharon l'maaseh v'reishit Ki hu yom t'chila l'mikra'ei kodesh Zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim Ki vanu v'charta Ve'otanu kidashta mikol hamim Ve'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Amen.
L'chaim, you may be seated. Sarah, can I turn it to you to say a few words before we dive into the main portion of our service this evening?
Absolutely, I'd love that. So today is a Shabbat that many synagogues around our country are celebrating as a pink Shabbat. Because we're in the month of October, we're recognizing breast cancer awareness, and so many places are bringing some awareness to issues of breast and ovarian cancer, something that is a real issue in our community and something that we want to make sure that we're aware of, staying on top of for our own sakes, staying on top of caring for those in our community who are struggling and who have lost people. Recognizing that not everyone who is struggling or at risk for breast or ovarian cancer is female, we wanted to take this opportunity to still highlight female voices in the music today. So most of the pieces that we'll be hearing are written by female composers, including this next song, this Shir Chadash, a new song, which might not be too new to you, by Julie Silver.
And I invite you to join us now on page 20 in our prayer books, as on pages 20 and 21 we find words of Lecha Dodi, welcoming Shabbat as we welcome one another to celebrate this Friday night.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala yadadai 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 B'nei Shabbat nekabela Lecha Dodi likrat kala yadadai 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 B'nei Shabbat nekabela Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad Ishmianu el hameyuchad Adonai echad u'shmo echad Shem u'tiferet b'li tihila Lecha Dodi likrat kala yadadai 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 B'nei Shabbat nekabela Lecha Dodi likrat kala yadadai 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 B'nei Shabbat nekabela Ikrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha Ki hi mekor ha'beracha Merosh mikedem nesucha Sof ma'aseh b'machshava techila Lecha Dodi likrat kala yadadai 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 B'nei Shabbat nekabela Lecha Dodi likrat kala yadadai 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 B'nei Shabbat nekabela Itoruri itoruri Ki ma'orechu mi'ori uri uri Shir daberi Od Adonai alayich nigla Lecha Dodi likrat kala yadadai 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 B'nei Shabbat nekabela Lecha Dodi likrat kala yadadai 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 B'nei Shabbat nekabela
I invite you to rise.
Hoy v'shalom ateret bala Gam b'simcha uv'tzola Toch emunei am segula Boi chala Oi chala Lecha Dodi likrat kala yadadai 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 B'nei Shabbat nekabela Lecha Dodi likrat kala yadadai 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 B'nei Shabbat nekabela
While you are already up, I invite you to take this opportunity to turn one to another, to turn to the people beside you, to wish them a Shabbat Shalom, that we might form community amidst sacred community for our prayers tonight. When you have finished your greetings, if you would take a seat, but we continue our welcoming as we welcome God's ministering angels, words of Shalom Alechem, page 24 in our prayer books.
Representing another female composer here, Daphne Rosenberg.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon. Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem leShalom, Malachei Hashalom.
We turn now to pages 26 and 27 in our prayer books. And would you join me first in the English on the top of page 27? Teach me, O God, a blessing, a prayer, on the mystery of a withered leaf, on ripened fruit so fair, on the freedom to see, to sense, to breathe, to know, to hope, to despair. Teach my lips a blessing, a hymn of praise. As each morning and night you renew your days, lest my day be today as the one before, lest routine set my ways. We continue on page 26.
Yitgadol v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah ve'almad yivrach yirutei ve'amlich malchutei v'chai echad uv'yom echad u'chayet echol Beit Yisrael ba'agala u'vizman Yehei Shemei Rabbah Mevarach Le'alam ul'almei almaya Yitbarach Yitbarach v'yishtabach Yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh V'yithadar v'yitoleh V'yithalal Shemei Dekurusha Brichu Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tush bechata v'nechemata damiram be'alma v'himru Amen.
As we turn to page 28 in our prayer books, we find a prayer the ancient sages envisioned as a call and response. As we make our way to the next section of our service, they imagine asking the congregation, "Are you ready? Are you ready to pray?" To which the response is, "Why, yes, of course, that's why we're here. We are ready to pray." Traditionally, the service leader might do the first line of the Baruch Hu prayer. The congregation might respond with the second, that we join forces in our prayers in song and voice. I invite you to rise on page 28.
Please feel free to join in the Nigun opening as well in this version by Rochelle Nelson.
Lai, 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 lai,
Would you join me now on the bottom of page 30? Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzevaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim. And on the bottom of page 33. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol, all these things your Torah gives to us, and the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works and the living language that gives it form? Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. We continue now, pages 34 and 35. Unless your name is Kendra Spolter. At this moment, I invite you to be seated. Kendra, would you join us up here as a preview of coming attractions, as you shake out a few of the nerves, as you let us all know the joy that we're in store for tomorrow morning, as you lead us in this prayer found on page 36 in our Sidurim.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך ושרתם מאוד על ידך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך מה תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי כי הייתם קדושים לאלוהיהם אני אדוני אלוהיהם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים לעולהם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיהם.
Well, a tremendous mazal tov to you, Kendra, and to your entire family. I'm so excited to get to celebrate this milestone with you tomorrow. I invite everyone now to turn in our prayer books to page 40. There we find words of Mi Chamocha.
This setting by Ilana Arian is one that will begin again in Nigun, a teaching song. You may have heard this in a virtual choir that we put together over the summer, and if you feel comfortable, the parts do overlap. So if you'd like to sing one while I sing the other, hopefully we'll have a chance to fit them all in, and just go for it.
And on page 42, on the bottom of the page, we find our Hashkivenu prayer, our prayer asking for a shelter of peace and protection with the onset of evening. Will you join me in the English? Grant, O God, that we lie down in peace, and raise us up, our guardian, to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel. For your name's sake, be our help. Shield and shelter us beneath the shadow of your wings. Defend us against enemies, illness, war, famine, and sorrow. Distance us from wrongdoing. For you, God, watch over us and deliver us. For you, God, are gracious and merciful. Guard our going and coming to life and to peace evermore. Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. There are so many things in this world from which we need a shelter of peace, from which we need a moment of respite. I invite you not to pretend those things don't exist, but to hold them in your heart as we recognize the power of these prayers and, more importantly, the ability for Shabbat to give us a respite in time. It doesn't mean we get to tune out and turn away from the troubles of this world, but it gives us an opportunity to be together in community, to connect with those who have gone before us through our prayers, to recognize the joy of being part of creation rather than attempting to tame creation. I would invite you to turn to page 44 for these words, this prayer, this song, reminding us of the glory of Shabbat at helping us find space in this troubled world.
Shabbat,
As we turn now to page 46, we find the beginning of our Shabbat Amidah, the central portion of our worship service together this evening. If it's comfortable for you to rise, I invite you to do so as we turn to page 46 and join together in song.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch
Atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor V'Hanora El Elyon Gomer Chasadim Tovim V'Konei Hakol V'Zocher Chasdei Avot V'Imahot Umevi Gula Livnei V'neihem L'ma'an Shemo B'Ahava Melech Ozer Umoshia Umagin Baruch Atah Adonai Magin Avraham Vezrat Sarah Atah Gibor Leolam Adonai Mechaye HaKol Atah Loshia Mashiv HaRuach Umarid HaGashem Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed Mechaye HaKol Berachamim Rabim Zomech Noflim Verofeh Holim Umatir Asurim Umekayem Emunato Lishenei Afar Michamocha Bal Gevurot Umido Melach Melech Memit Umechaye Umatzmiach Yeshua V'ne'eman Atah L'chayot HaKol Baruch Atah Adonai Mechaye HaKol Atah Kadosh V'Shimcha Kadosh U'Kdoshim B'Chol Yom Yalu Chasela Baruch Atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh. Moments of peace, moments of tranquility, moments of quiet are fleeting in this world in which we live. And I invite you to embrace that quiet, hopefully bringing with it an inner quiet, as we continue with the words of our tradition through page 62, or with the silent prayers that can only come from our hearts. When you've enjoyed that moment, when you've offered the prayers that can only come from within, I invite you to be seated. We ask that sense of peace. We ask that HaKadosh Baruch Hu descend on us, descend on this world, descend on those in need of healing this Shabbat. As we turn in our prayer books to page 253, we find Mishaberach Lecholim, our prayer for those suffering from ailments of mind, of body, of spirit. If there are those you are thinking of for our prayer for healing, I invite you to share their name aloud, that we might concentrate our prayers, that we might concentrate our efforts on their behalf.
Judy Staff, John Wesley, Joshua Hill. Ron Richmond and Sarah Simon. Linda Scott and Frank Brown. Keith Brown. Eric Cass.
Baruch atah Adonai rofeh hacholim. Blessed are you, God, who brings a measure of comfort to all who are ill. And together we say, Amen. A whopper, an embellishment, a fib, a fabrication, a strained relationship with the truth, a fable, a half-truth, a fiction, a blatant, bald-faced lie. Perhaps we have so many different words for lying because it's part of our human nature to bend, stretch, distort, ignore the truth with surprisingly disturbing frequency. Kind of like there are 50 different words in Inuit for snow because it's so important to their culture. Except, as it turns out, that too was a well-meaning exaggeration. Perhaps, though, we have so many different words for lying to make it more somehow defensible when we get caught. I wasn't lying, said everyone caught in a lie, ever. Perhaps we have so many different words for lying because there are shades of gray and because intentionality matters. A whopper is easily dismissed as an exaggeration, particularly when it comes to fishing stories, while gaslighting is a much more insidious attempt to deceive. Hillel and Shammai, the great sages of the Talmud, have had a version of this very discussion. We know it's meritorious in Jewish tradition, even a commandment, they say, to rejoice with bride and groom. But what exactly does that mean? The sages of Shammai say that we are to dance and laugh and praise the bride as she is, whatever good qualities we genuinely perceive, calling it like we see it. The students of Hillel say the commandment is to tell every single bride that she looks beautiful on her wedding day. How can this be, the students of Shammai say? What if she doesn't exactly look so beautiful? Doesn't the Torah say in Exodus 23 to distance ourselves from falsehood? How can we lie? The students of Hillel point out that beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and that a falsehood in this case isn't subterfuge, it isn't self-aggrandizement, it isn't fraud, but it's for the very noblest of purposes. Even God's self would lie for the sake of peace, they suggest. And indeed, we see just that in this week's Torah portion. Abraham and Sarah are visited by 3 angels who proclaim that Sarah is going to have a baby. Do you remember her reaction when she heard that news? V'titzchak Sarah b'kirba lemor. Sarah laughed. She said, now that I am old and wrinkled, am I to have enjoyment? And my husband is so old. It's a wonderful line of the text. Sarah laughs at herself. Can this possibly be so? And she laughs at her husband. Ain't no way this is going to be so, she says. In the very next verse, God reports that conversation back to Abraham. Lama zeh tzahak Sarah lemor, ha'af umnam eled ani zakanti. Why did Sarah laugh? God asked, saying, shall I bear a child as old as I happen to be? God faithfully reports that Sarah laughed. God faithfully reports her incredulity over learning she would have a child. But when God relates the story to Abraham, there's a change to the text. It isn't that Abraham is too old, as Sarah literally said, but that Sarah is too old, is what gets reported to Abraham. Abraham's feelings were spared. The words put into God's mouth were changed for the sake of peace. God, of course, derives no benefit from this lie. It wasn't for any commercial purpose. It was only in the interest of making peace among people. And that, perhaps, is the line that our tradition draws. Before we engage in any bending of the truth, it's important to check in with your gut, with your kavanah, with your intention. Does what you're about to say benefit you in any way, directly or indirectly, by letting you skirt a difficult conversation? If so, you're not allowed to say it. Does it enrich your coffers, your ego, your job advancement, your standing in someone else's eyes? If so, you're not allowed to tell that lie. Does it avoid personal embarrassment or get you off the hook? You can't tell that lie. If, and only if, it's 100% entirely altruistic, and you have a vantage point, such as we imagine God having, to ensure that there are no unintended consequences, can you permissibly, in Jewish tradition, tell a little lie? So, do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? You must, always, except for that exceedingly rare instance, not before a court of law, where a little untruth can prevent the embarrassment of another human being, where it can bring them peace without bringing any collateral damage or develop within you a habit. Only in that case may you do just as God did. Thank you for giving us this guidance, God. Shabbat Shalom. I invite you to turn back with me in our Sidurim, back in our prayer books to the bottom of page 282. We begin the process of concluding our service with Aleinu L'Shabach, page 282. If it's comfortable for you to do so, I invite you to rise at this time. I invite you to be seated. At this time in our service, we remember those who have gone before us, those of our family and friends, those whose lives have been a blessing to humanity from every race and nation. At this time, we remember those who have gone before us. We mourn the passing of Marilyn Mimi Bernard, who was laid to rest in recent days, and observe the period of Shaloshim for Todd Rasko and Irving Slifkin. This Shabbat, we recognize the yahrzeit, the commemoration of the passing of Martin Berman, Philip Berman, Sophie Berman, David Bernstein, Mary Blockstein, Morton Bregman, Imogen Briner, Jeffrey Kaplan, Violet Sepikoff, Sam Cohen, Betty Diskin, Marcia Green Farbstein, Jeanette Feldman, Mildred Foyer, Anne R. Fried, Joseph Friedman, Dorothy Genstein, Meyer Gowertz, Rose Gordon, Ethel Gottesman, Anne Gremmelsbacher, Bess Heisman, Peter Hurwitz, Joan Hood, Benjamin Lebovitz, Robert Lipsitz, Jerome A. Lowenstein, Ethel Mandel, Leslie Marcus, Nettie Marcus, Jacob B. Monis, Phyllis Oster, David H. Revson, Natalie L. Rosenblatt, Samuel Rubenstein, Max Russman, Frank Samowich, J. Milton Schneier, Evelyn Schutzman, Miriam Schwartz, Terry Lynn Seltzer, Shirley Shapiro, Joseph Schiffman, Esther Shore, Samuel Schulman, Herman Simon, David Spitzer, Wayne Thomas, and Joseph Weiss. Simon, David Spitzer, Wayne Thomas, and Joseph Weiss. If there are others you are remembering this Shabbat, or if I have inadvertently mispronounced the name of a loved one, I would invite you to share their name with the congregation.
Arnold Holder.
Yehi zichronam livracha. May the memory of all of our loved ones be for us an everlasting blessing. As we turn to page 294, we affirm words of Kaddish Yatom, our mourner's Kaddish, page 294. And if it's comfortable for you to do so, I would invite you to rise. Yit gadal v'yit kadash shemei rabbah. Be'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chaye decho Beit Yisrael. Ba'gala uv'izman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehi Shemei Rabam Vorach Leolam Lalmei Almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shemei d'kudsha b'richu le'la min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata damiran v'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shalama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimramav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru. Amen. May God, who makes peace in heaven, cause peace to descend on all of us. And may we say together, Amen. You may be seated. A special thank you to everyone who has participated in our service this evening. Student Cantor Sierra Fox, always a pleasure to get to pray with you at the onset of Shabbat. And Jim Burns, thank you for being with us as well. Assistant, temporary, wonderfully new executive producer Dave Rulo, thank you for stepping in this evening and making sure those who are with us in virtual community have a quality experience. Kendra, thank you for helping to lead the service, and I'm so excited about tomorrow morning. And thank you to everyone who has joined us in sacred community. We'll begin again tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. for our Shabbat morning service, 9 o'clock for Torah study, 10:30 is the wonderful celebration of Kendra's Bat Mitzvah. I hope you will join us for one of these opportunities this Shabbat, recognizing that we're headed into something of a long week. Next week in our Pittsburgh community and around the world, we remember those lives taken from us at the shooting at the Tree of Life or the Simcha, and a special song this evening to send us on our way, to give us a bit of chizuk, a little bit of strength and courage as we prepare to face the week ahead.
Amen. We keep them in our memories, in our thoughts, and our hearts, along with, again, those who have lost lives or who are struggling with and at risk for breast and ovarian cancer and cancer of all forms. This is Stand Strong by Laurie Akers. Take my hand, I'll take yours. Together we can open doors. If you see me and I see you for who we are, then we'll get through if we sing one song. We stand strong. You witness hatred and abuse. You don't know what to do. You see the world is full of strife. So many seek a better life. You ask, what can I do? Take my hand, I'll take yours. Together we can open doors. If you see me and I see you for who we are, then we'll get through if we sing one song. We stand strong. No more hatred, no more war. We will rise up one day more. We know what to do. We will love, not fight our way. That's our promise for today. This is what we'll do. Take my hand, I'll take yours. Together we can open doors. If you see me and I see you for who we are, then we'll get through if we sing one song. We
if we sing one song, we stand strong. We are not alone.
Shabbat Shalom.